everybody, and welcome back. My name is Joel, and this is A Stable Life. Welcome to a special episode, guys, because this is the hay wrap-up of 2022. Horses. We've got a lot of them. Over 24 of them, to be exact, in different areas of the stable. We've got over 60 acres of pasture, but that's not enough, especially at times like now. We're here in December. Their primary source of forage material is hay. Hay is a big part of any horse operation, and for our horse operation, it is a must. Because they're horses. Horses eat a lot of it. And here at our stable, we actually have the opportunity to make most of our hay. We used to only feed small square bales here at our stable, but as time moves forward, we've been starting to use round bales, and as you can see in this feeder right here, large square bales. So a lot of you guys might be wondering what goes into all the work from getting grass all dried down to food for our horses. It's actually a pretty lengthy process, involving lots of machinery and different types of machinery to do different jobs. And in this video, we're gonna break down actually the entire year, starting with going back all the way to May of 2022, when our hay crop was just about ready to be harvested. Currently, it is late May, early June. This is usually a time when our first cutting is coming available for harvest. And when you take a look, you notice that we have a lot of different breeds in here, from fescue grass to reed canary grass. We've got some K31 spread throughout here. Not a lot of Timothy, actually. We used to have a few Timothy fields, but most of those have been changed or swapped out or swapped through. So it's usually around this time period that most of your hay is ready, and you can usually tell when a hay crop is ready when you take a look out through all of the seeds and everything like that, and you can see that everything is out, because this is the part that has the most nutrients inside it for the horses or for whatever animal you're feeding. So this is what you're looking for. The rest of this is all just forage. This helps their digestive system, but this right here is where they get their nutrients from. That's what you're primarily looking for. Once all of this stuff is out and before it all starts turning brown in the head is when it's time to cut. Normally, when it comes to this kind of hay, we would mow this down, ted it, rake it, bale it into small square bales, and then use those small square bales throughout the course of the year, stored in 2 barns. But this year, because of the success of our round bales and how well they did, we're gonna be doing our entire first cutting in round bales. At least that's the plan anyway. From how it's mowed, to how we dry it down, to how we prepare it for baling, to baling, and then storage afterwards. And I'm gonna take you guys through the entire process. The first part of this process is actually called disc binding, which is actually pretty neat. We got a piece of equipment that goes over the field rather quickly, and you're gonna see it in one pass. It's gonna cut the bottom off, pick the crop up, throw it through 2 conditioning blades that crimp it, bleed the moisture out of it, and then spit it out the back so it immediately starts drying. What's amazing about the disc bind is we used to use a thing called a hay bind, which has basically teeth that go back and forth, and it cuts the hay, and then it grabs it, pulls it back through conditioners. It's a very old way of mowing hay, and you could only really go 1 to 2 miles an hour through the field. When you were doing first cutting, which is, as you can see in this clip here, when the hay's waist high, you were really running the tractor hard. But with this disc bind, as you can see, it's just flying through the field. You can mow up to 10, 15 miles an hour. And in some fields where there's no gopher holes and it's just wide open, you can open it up. You can get up to 20 miles an hour if you wanted to, and the hay provided allowed you to. It's incredible how fast you can mow hay, and it allows you to just go through acres and just chew up those acres, which is really awesome. And you can see here what a clean cut it does. It's going right across the top. And this is the stuff we're looking for right here. This is just cut, and it already is starting to dry. And if I can grab a leaf here, if you look at the leaf, you can actually see that it's been cracked in a couple places. And that's on purpose. And the reason why is when you crack the blades of grass, it allows the moisture to bleed out of the blade of grass. Now the sun and the wind is gonna do its job and slowly dry this out. That piece of machinery is really something, isn't it? It's incredible to see just how much crop it can cut and move right through. And for horses like this size, we definitely need it. So now that it's all mowed, what do we do next? Well, we gotta get that wet crop dried down in order for it to be stored properly, which means it's time to ted. We're here in the field. Now this was disc fined yesterday and oh my goodness, this is nuts. This hay is actually so dry that it's almost ready to bale right now, which is kind of crazy to think about. Now tedding this will dry it down a lot, and then the wind and the sun can hit that, dry it down nice and easy, and then that makes our crop that much better for the horses when it comes time to bale, so we don't have to worry about moisture, aka mold, being created inside the bale after this guy's baled up. That's the process, that's what we're doing. Let's get to it. Well, now we have all that material dried down, but there's only one problem. It's all over the place in the field. How's the baler gonna pick it up when there's just this solid blanket covering the field? Well, that moves things on over to raking, where we take that dry crop and put it in windrows so the baler can pick it up. Nifty how those little tines grab the hay and put it all to one row, and you can see how clean it is after he's gone through. Looks nice, and that's what we're looking for right here. You can see the wind's coming right up against the row here. This is all super dry here. That's good. So there's little fingers that come down, and that's pretty neat. It grabs the hay and spins it over, and then the bar that it's connected to is angled. So as it goes to the windrow, the fingers come up, so there's no fingers on the back, only the front. And it just grabs the hay and swipes it up. As it fluffs it up real nice and tall, and there's lots of air inside there. So anything that wasn't drying now will have nice air movement through the row, making it dry down faster. The whole goal of the entire process is to dry the crop down faster from every single piece of machinery that moves through it in an attempt to dry it down, so that way we have a nice clean, dry crop. Finally, we've arrived at the best part of the entire process and condensing it into one of three types of bales: large square bale, small square bale, and round bale. And this takes us to small square bales, which as you guys can see are quite a lot different than large square bales, which this is one large square bale, that's one small square bale. Small square bales were something that we used at our stable for a long time, and it's the main source of hay for a lot of horse stables. Mainly because they're easy. I can pick this bale up by hand, move it wherever I need to, cut it open, and feed it in whatever stall I need to. So there's a lot of benefits that come with small square bales. So let's see how they get made.
coming. He's coming. Oh! You need to come back a little bit more.
That'll be fine. That'll be perfect, actually. There you go. So this hay elevator is going to take the hay right off the wagon, right into here, right off here, and drop it right down into our pit, where I'll be stacking down there. How'd you get roped into doing this? What? Stacking hay with me. I don't know. Oh, I understand we're on film now. So there we go. Definitely not the prettiest stack job we've ever done, but that's the whole wagon in here. Round bales. Round bales are definitely something, and something we didn't use at our stable for a very long time. Simply put, we don't have anywhere to store them. And until we realized that wrapping was actually something we could do for our horses, we thought we could only ever do small square bales just because we didn't have the buildings to store the round bales in. Round bales are actually really impressive because they take a lot of the manual labor out of baling. These are designed and built to hold more hay than a small square bale and to be moved by machines. And the process that goes into making these bales is fascinating. See, Daniel's getting the round baler ready to go. You're cleaning out all the clover. So this guy's pretty simple. Basically, there's a little roll bar with teeth down here that spin, and it picks up the hay and it pulls it through into this system where there's a belt, and it basically rotates the hay and just keeps spinning the hay, feeding it in about an inch thick layer and rolling it, making it bigger and bigger. And Daniel up in the cab can actually control exactly how big this bale gets. Once it reaches the desired length, it then wraps it with a net on the outside, seals it, and then Daniel hydraulically opens this gate and it just drops the bale right out the back. So Daniel, do you prefer using round baler or square baler?
Depends on the day mainly.
So today, which do you prefer using?
Probably the square baler.
What's that?
I don't have to stop.
So when you're in a rush, you prefer the square baler. When you're not in a rush, round baler?
Well, the square baler, as you're going, it kicks the bale out. This, you have to stop and dump the bale.
And that could get to be a little tedious after a little while, constantly hearing that beeping and stopping, making sure that it's set the right way.
Well, every time your back gate, this is a magnetic switch. Every time your back gate comes off of that, it beeps at you.
Like the beep that I'm hearing in the tractor right now?
Yes.
Look at the form, and you can see what I was talking about earlier, about how it takes the hay and rolls it in about at inch level and just rolls it and continues to roll it all the way out to the outside layer. And then it takes this net right here all along this bale, and then boom, you're set. And it is absolutely amazing. As you guys saw with the small square bales, the bale is immediately ejected into a wagon, and then that wagon can be taken wherever you need the hay. However, with the round bales, as you guys can see, the bale's still in the field, which means we need to move it from out of the field to wherever we're storing the bales, be that inside a barn, or in this case, right here. All right, here we go. Here we go. You guys ready? First stuff of the year. Always love it. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to take these round bales and we're going to set them next to each other and put them all the way at the bottom so that when Matt gets here with the truck, we can just load them right up. What I've been doing is I've been taking them and putting them level like this for the front two, and then the back two I put straight up and down so they don't roll off.
That's fine, yeah.
And then same thing for the wagon.
Whatever, yeah, however you've been doing it is
okay.
Fine. Yep.
Yo, Matt, if one's like hanging off too far that I can't see, just let me know and I'll put them back.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If one's like hanging off too far that I can't see, just let me know and I'll put them back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
look who's coming through. We're only one field behind them now. So this is the field that we were in the last video, checking out, taking a look at, the first one that I came across. We got about 9 bales out of here, and the hay looks really good. I want to get them all centered in the middle of the field. We'll get them all stacked and right in center, so that way when Matt comes in, he's ready to go. So let's check out how the hay looks, huh? Solid. It's dry. Beautiful. I love it. These are good bales. Nice and solid. Now we've reached the part where wrapping comes into play. You see, hay needs to be dry for our horses. When hay gets wet, it starts to decompose. Mold starts to grow between all of the layers of the bale. For certain animals, that fermentation process and decomposition process is actually fantastic. And such as these bales right behind here that are marked with C for cows, they were actually baled wet, with the intention that that bale will ferment inside that wrap with no oxygen touching it, turning it into haylage, which is a form of silage, and cows love it. However, for our horses, not so much. So we need to keep it dry. Now, wrapping is usually used with haylage in mind, but if you wrap it tight enough and it's baled dry, no moisture gets inside the bale. This was something that we actually were a little skeptical about. Through the process condensation, we figured that moisture would make its way through that plastic into the bale, making the bale wet and then making the bale useless. We've only got so many hay fields, so if we devote an entire portion of our crop towards being round bales, and then they all fail and turn to mold, then we lost all of that hay for horses. The hay's not gone, it can all be fed to the cows, but with our horses, that leaves us in a bind. So we did a test if wrapping these bales really did prove to be something feasible for our operation. And what do you know? It is. The process of wrapping these round bales is actually pretty neat, and as you'd imagine, it requires a lot of machinery and not a lot of labor. That's the nice part about these bales, is you can do them even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. And that's really the whole point why we moved to round bales. I'm trying to future-proof as much as I can.
Well, that should about do it for the horse hay. They just dropped off 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 bales, which was a really nice load. Probably gonna do more cuttings later on, but this should finish up the horse hay for the day.
So as you guys can see, hay is a major story and a big part of taking care of horses, especially when we get into the winter months. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was really nice kind of walking you through the year and seeing the whole process from start to finish. But sadly, we've reached the end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure that you're subscribed to see more horse-related content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.